Welcome. This is a recording of adults playing or talking about tabletop games. This means that adult language and/or themes may occur within that could be seen as inappropriate for younger audiences. Thank you. Hey guys, John here. Just wanted to go over the campaign last night and everything tonight how it went and everything that went on. Obviously, there was, a lot of weird tensions and weird things going on tonight. But I wanted to go over everything and my opinions on it all. So, first thing is, I actually really enjoyed tonight's session. It's probably one of my favorite sessions that we've done so far. I'd have to say it's really close. I really enjoyed Sebastian's combat, but tonight was probably one of my favorites. Reason being is that the players willingly and without me pushing them decided to roleplay tonight and play, like really get into their characters. And to me, that's like so rewarding to really see that I was able to get them to think like their characters and do things within their character and that's just really cool, and I was really happy about that. As you saw, Steven is now officially a full, part of our team. I took a vote with the players, and they said, "Yeah, let's totally bring him in. He's awesome. Let's see where this goes." And he was absolutely interested. He was, constantly hounding me via text. He's like, "Did they vote? Did they vote? I want to make a character." So we made Roland, and so now he's a part of it. Obviously, a lot of their roleplay tonight came from Abigail and the oddity of Abigail. She is a very ambiguous character and kind of a bitch. Actually, she's a really big bitch, but she's got a cool story, and hopefully, we'll get to unfold all of that. I wrote a full backstory for her, and like I told the players, if I write a full backstory for a character, that means they got a story to tell. So hopefully, they don't just suddenly kill my character and let her fully, do what she wants to do, and you know, lead them on an interesting chase. Obviously, there wasn't combat tonight, as you guys will have already seen. I did intend combat, however, the role playing from the players slowed the session down to the point where I didn't feel that we could adequately do everything I wanted them to do without having to cut them off in the middle of something, and I didn't want to do that. So we ended it a little bit earlier instead. Oh, excuse me. But, that just gives us a lot more to do, next session, and they'll have this really nice, cool, long combat session, um, and to fully involve themselves in. Um, we finally get to also in that situation. I say it in the actual campaign that I think I say it in the campaign, maybe not. That we're going to slowly enter that situation where bullets become a thing. Um, they haven't been in a location where they readily have access to munitions. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how that is, and I'm going to let them kind of deal with having to start counting their bullets and make sure that they don't run out. Excuse me. So that'll be kind of fun. Overall, though, you guys will notice that the session was a little bit slower. There wasn't like a whole bunch going on, even though there was a good bit of role play. It was actually a setup session. I intended everything to kind of lead into a new arc. So things are kind of cascading and rolling now. I've introduced a lot of interesting things and people and objects and events and creatures to the world around the players, and now I'm going to slowly start dragging them in and using them and leading the players in different directions to, basically fill out the world and let them see the world. Why would they want to go to a certain place? Or, like, instead of just, I'm going to totally, sideline you and kind of point you in this direction, you know, instead of like kind of like two paths, I'm going to give them a lot more open paths where, like, if they say, hey, I really want to do this, that's going to be something that they can do instead of you have to have a reason to go there. Like, I'm going to give you a mission to go to this high school. I'm just gonna let it all happen. They obviously weren't gonna do the food. They weren't gonna worry about the food within the town. Instead of being the heroes and trying to go out and find the food, I had to kind of be like, "Here, would you like to do this quest?" Yellow exclamation mark above NPC's head, and they're like, "Sure, that sounds like a great idea." So like they had the option of skipping it, but they didn't. Now we're going to get into the situation where we're going to get a lot more old school RPG where, you know, you just got to straight up talk to people and you got to like say, hey, this thing's kind of cool and it's got a name, like, I wonder why that is. Maybe I should find out. So a lot more of that's going to happen, and you guys will see that I hint at certain things to the players, and they know that things are happening. I brought in one of the demons that they ran into. Zandalfon, the sword that Ren's carrying, has an importance to the NPC. There's this brand new NPC which everyone knows is going to be important to the story. Um, she's a bitch and she has power or rank within the Templars, and now you have three Templars in the party for the moment because she's obviously only an NPC, and that's going to be a thing that they're going to have to deal with, and especially a player like Andrew. Who plays Biscuits, being a magic user. The Templars don't really trust magic as a whole, and so now the players are kind of defending each other, and against Abigail because like she doesn't like Andrew. So now we get this like really cool like you know manipulation of events and player types and characters and opinions and stuff like that. And so now we get to really like see what happens, with the players and what the players want to do. And I think right about now is probably the favorite point. It usually takes, I think, about 6 to 8 sessions in my mind for players in a new world to really start rolling. And we're at that point. This session was 8, and it took a little bit longer. Things just tended to be a little bit slower because I'm with a new group, so that's not like the most surprising thing in the world. But it was really nice, and now we finally get to go on this adventure, and Arlington's gonna kind of show these things. They're right near the Chaos Gate now, and like they actually got to see the Chaos Gate, which is something they didn't get to see, and so now they're starting to actually kind of understand the threat, and that this gate isn't just actually a gate that they can just crumble or anything like that. It's not some bullshit from like Oblivion. It's not this small portal. It's a huge rend in reality, and that there's a reason that it's a you know a bridge to chaos. And so we're gonna actually like get to see a little bit more of that, and we're gonna get to see humanity's resistance against it now, and we're gonna I don't want to spoil too much for you guys, but we're gonna get to see a lot more of that. A lot more of the world is gonna get developed for you guys now, but it's all gonna be lots of action. Players are gonna be going places, gonna be doing things. We're gonna get to see different locations. A long while back, I actually wrote out like stories and events and everything for every single station in the entire world, or in like Boston, and so now I'm going to start leading the players through Boston, and let them see these things and meet these people and objects and demons, and maybe some demons aren't bad, maybe they're all bad, maybe they're all just sneaky bastards pretending that they're not bad but they're actually bad, um, you know all those kind of things, and we're going to get to finally do that. One thing I will upfront mention to you guys, because I told it to the players, and this is some advice to DMs, is that don't forget that weapons can have a story. Um, the players kind of ignore the fact that Zandalfon is named Zandalfon, which is an angel, um, and especially in a world where magic, and there's obviously holy magic and hellish magic, um, that might have bigger implications than someone just etching the name Zandalfon on a sword. So I'm gonna use Zandalfon a little bit to push things forward. Um, which obviously was very obvious in the campaign with Abigail looking at the sword that Ren, is in possession of. Also, one thing that I will mention because I forgot to when I brought up Steven is we officially reached what I feel is the overflow point on players. Um, so you guys get to see me kind of deal with it. 5 people is an interesting number in role playing games, and I highly recommend not doing 5. Or if you do 5, don't ever do more, ever, ever, ever. Um, and the reason that is, in my mind, is not because it's particularly any more difficult as a DM to handle that, but as far as keeping things running, keeping things going, having that extra person, number 5, is like it's just this weird number that really pushes things to suddenly like it's like driving with your second foot on the brake. Like you're still going, but you're fucking everything up. It's just slower and it's dragging and it's wear, on the campaign. And so, now you're going to see me actually start pushing the players a little bit harder. Make sure you know what you want to do. You know, before your turn comes up. Like if you're going to be doing something, go on. To use the type chat. Steven was doing it a lot tonight, and I'm going to be pushing the other players to do a lot of that. To if they're going to have like side conversations with people, in a normal, real like around a table thing, you can just lean over and talk to someone. You can't do that over the internet. So it makes it very difficult. So now you're going to see a lot more of the chat, and that's why I specifically make sure that that dice area is going to be there. It was for the eventuality of lots of whispers between NPCs and players talking to players and things like that. Obviously, I won't see when players talk to each other privately, but I'll be able to see anything that they say openly in the chat when they're strategizing or talking about things. And that way we can kind of hopefully get things to move along a little bit faster so that everyone still gets to do everything a little bit quicker. But, for future reference, that to me is the danger point in a campaign. 5 is push. You got to push it a little bit. Um, Not to say that 5 isn't a good number. I actually enjoy 5. My almost all my experience was sitting at 5 or 6 people, but I always found that 5 and 6 always took significantly longer than a 4-player team, and 4 was always a sweet spot for speed. Maybe that's just me, but I'm pretty sure other DMs out there would probably agree with me that 4 is really a nice point. So that would be my advice moving forward to everyone, that you keep it low. And obviously, like in tonight's situation, Andrew just was completely MIA. I don't know where he went. I texted him. He wasn't responding. It was daylight savings time. Maybe he slept. Maybe he's on spring break. I don't know. Maybe he died. I still haven't heard from him. I don't know. But as far as things go with Andrew, I mean, he was absent, and we were back to 4. So now I can always, have 1 to 2 people, and I can always keep the session running. That's one thing that's really nice about 5, is now I can officially take 2 people and have them missing at any given point in time. So almost always we can keep things going. I'll probably make choices just moving forward. I'll say this up front, that if I'm missing 2 people, I will leave that up to the group and me having the overall say, depending on what the story is. If it's not particularly important, then I would probably be willing to let just the 3 and myself go and run the session. But if it's a major moving point where like major decisions are going to be made, then probably I'd say that I could only be missing 1 person at any given point in time. But that's what I'll probably say overall. Anyways, that's it for me tonight. Hope you all enjoyed the session, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.